he's the most exciting because he is vulnerable, because he's not unbeatable. He's got crazy fast twitchies, he can box, but he's so aggressive and he's vulnerable enough to counters that it's actually exciting. Tank got that Tyson-esque fast twitchies and the power, but because he's getting hit in exchange more.
Tank, hold up, Gervonta, you are a I don't care what anybody says, you can be all that rah-rah thug life and scream and jock your head on Chief Keef Sosa. Man, with your sucking lips, get out of here.
It's a tank. Who can fight a tank? Okay? Once he fires, it's a boom.
When you talk about knockout power, there's strong, there's dangerous, and then there's Tank Davis, the walking glitch in boxing physics. You look at him and think, there's no way that guy hits that hard.
Tank, to me, man, is a dangerous man, but he's at his most dangerous point when he's looking in your head, he's smiling and shaking his head and walking towards you.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, you're done.
Because it's almost like he beats you and he's tasting your blood. Oh, you taste good.
As serious as he can be, at basically every point of a promotion, and every point of the beginning of a fight, and then once he starts to crack a smile, it's like, what can you do?
But then you see his opponents collapse like their Wi-Fi just disconnected from reality. And you realize this isn't hype, it's horror in slow motion. Fighters say he doesn't even look like a puncher. No shredded biceps, no bodybuilder build, just pure dynamite wrapped in calm confidence.
Skill for skill, none of these guys can mess with me, like nobody. Like, I feel like my skills is way better than like Floyd. Like if I'm on my game. Well, I take that back. Probably hand in hand. But skill-wise, nobody on TV that's fighting right now have more skills than me. Nobody. Like, talking about top to bottom list of fighters that's fighting on.
Tank doesn't rush you, he studies you. He lets you breathe, lets you think you're safe, then boom, lights out. That's not boxing power, that's a controlled detonation with gloves on. What makes Tank truly terrifying isn't just the knockout, it's the setup. As Andre Ward once said about great fighters, they fight like they've lived.
Man, that dude Gervonta Davis, my first time watching him, I seen him a video on Instagram, man. I looked up his highlights too. That dude's a beast, man. He's great speed, great defense in those uppercuts, man. I'm not a hater, man. If I see somebody I think is good, man, I'll talk good about him. You know, some people they just see boxing and they don't appreciate it. They talk bad about him. But me, I see a good fighter and I respect it.
Tank's been through real pain, and you can feel that in his rhythm. He'll walk you down smiling, shaking his head like, you done messed up, and from that moment, it's already over. He breaks you mentally before he breaks you physically. One fighter said it best, when Tank starts grinning mid-fight, it's because he's already tasted blood. He's in that Tyson zone, the part of the ring where fear becomes fuel, and the knockout is just a formality.
But Tank, one thing I can say about Tank is he's smart. He can box.
Yes.
And he's explosive.
You believe there's a chance the other guy can win, and that makes it even more exciting, to say nothing of the pace he sets, the level of action, the level of bombs that are thrown by Tank, and as he fights better opposition, the number that will be coming back at him. Yeah, he's guaranteed thrills for the dollar.
And here's the wild part, Tank's not just a puncher, he's a tactician disguised as chaos. Fighters who've sparred with him talk about his defense like it's witchcraft. He'll go from high guard to cross guard to head movement in seconds, not rounds, not exchanges, seconds. One slip, one twitch, and you're missing air. Most heavy punchers sacrifice defense for destruction, but not this guy.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight?
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga, he hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. And like, I thought he died. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, I thought he died.
Tank, is that true? You almost killed a heavyweight in the ring? That's what he said.
Should be happening.
Because he asked me, how does a 135-pounder take your power? I said, I don't think anybody takes the power.
He's out there making world-class boxers swing at ghosts and regret life choices in real time. That mix of IQ and violence, that's what separates him from 99% of fighters today. So yeah, let's stop pretending this man isn't one of the most complete fighters on the planet. He's got Pacquiao's ferocity, Mayweather's IQ, and Tyson's soul trapped inside a 135-pound frame. It's like someone pressed create a fighter and maxed out every attribute.
He can punch, he's a knockout artist. He can box, he's not given enough credit for it, okay? He closes, he finishes. Once he smells blood, he's like a shark in blood-infested waters, Molly. He will finish you, okay? The time has arrived for us to stand down and to start giving Gervonta Davis the love and respect that he deserves. This brother is elite.
You can argue resumes all day, but if you're standing across from Gervonta Tank Davis, you're not just facing a boxer, you're facing a storm that smiles. Every jab, every counter, every feint, it's a setup to make you forget what round you're in. So if you still don't think Tank deserves his flowers, don't worry, he'll hand them to you after the knockout. And just when you thought the Tank versus Jake drama was heating up, boom, Gervonta drops a bomb that shakes the whole boxing internet. You ever hear something so wild you gotta pause the video and rewind just to make sure your ears aren't lying? That was this moment. Tank basically said, yeah, Floyd Mayweather tried to set me up to fail over his daughter. Bruh, we went from boxing beef to full-blown Netflix family drama.
Okay, so do you think Floyd did that intentionally?
Yeah, for sure.
Why? After so much time, after like, I guess, again, after what we think he helped you come into the game, he gave you the spotlight. Like, why would he try to diminish your career?
Cause at that time I don't want to go too deep into it, cause I don't want to bring up it was somehow that they were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept Snapchatting me.
Okay.
She kept hitting me on the Snapchat.
You can't make this up. It's like the sequel nobody asked for but everyone's watching. And the crazy part? Tank didn't even sound bitter. He sounded like a man who's already moved past it. Like, yeah, that chapter's over, but I still wrote the book. You could feel that calm confidence, the type that comes when you've survived the game's politics and came out with both gloves still on. But let's be real, this whole thing shows you how wild boxing gets behind the curtains. We talk about promoters, legacy, money, but jealousy? That's the silent killer in this sport. Floyd saw the kid he discovered turning into his own boss, and it started looking a little too familiar. Tank outgrew the puppet strings, and once that happened, the old school control game didn't work anymore.
So they sent it to Floyd, and Floyd bugged out.
Okay.
So that's what made it like.
And you think that was a downfall of y'all career? I mean, y'all.
No, it was a downfall.
Career,
yeah, it wasn't a downfall of my career. I mean, our relationship, because it was more things that he was doing. Like,
he scheduled a fight, I think, doing like your fight or something. I don't think they did it, but
stuff like that.
Promoting.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Now he's out here building his own empire, taking fights on his terms, and speaking his truth like a man who's no longer scared to lose access. It's messy, it's dramatic, it's boxing, but that's what makes it addictive. One day you're fighting for belts, the next you're fighting for respect, and somehow Gervonta is managing to win both. Alright, after all that heavyweight talk about legacy and being the face, I'm gonna cut through the fog and say this straight to you. We're watching Gervonta Tank Davis walk into a very expensive tightrope. I get it, you take the Jake Paul fight, you get paid like a king, but we don't trade legacy for a check without consequences. Tank's power and timing still scare the pants off fighters, but this is a guy who's flirted with danger only a couple times and then ducked the rematch.
People are not watching boxing in the United States of America. That has left a hole that the broadcasters have looked to fill, and they've done this with influencer boxing, which brings a completely different audience to the game. Every promoter and broadcaster on this planet is to blame for this situation that we are finding ourselves in right now. They've opened the door to clowns, and now we've got ourselves a circus. It is a travesty.
So when you step in with a 200-pound novelty who sells out eyeballs, you better treat it like a real fight, not a paycheck photo op. If Tank shows up half-hearted, the boxing nerds will have a field day. If he shows up cold, clinical, and finishes early, then that payday looks like a savvy retirement plan, not a surrender. Now let me be blunt and theatrical, because that's what you invited me for. Jake Paul is a promotional hurricane. He'll bring views, noise, and fans who don't know a jab from a jaywalk. That helps everyone's bottom line, but it doesn't make him a boxer, and it doesn't magically erase Tank's responsibility to the sport. Here's the hot take. Tank doesn't have to go full war. He just needs the kind of performance that makes people stop asking why. A violent first half knockout or a tactical dismantling, and he cashes out with both money and some dignity intact. Anything else? A sloppy decision, a controversial draw, or worse. And he hands the narrative to the critics who've been sharpening knives for months. Watch closely, because this is less about skill and more about what Tank wants his story to say when the lights go off.
Yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing's been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul now. It's a cash out.
At the end of the day, Gervonta Davis isn't just fighting Jake Paul. He's fighting perception, legacy, and the ticking clock of superstardom. This is the kind of crossroads moment every great fighter faces. The point where skill meets spectacle, and one wrong step can rewrite your story. Because this fight isn't just about who hits harder, it's about who owns the moment. Tank's walking into a circus with millions watching, but he's not there to entertain. He's there to remind everyone why boxing isn't a YouTube trend. It's a blood-earned craft. If he walks through Jake Paul like a storm tearing down a billboard, it won't just be another knockout. It'll be a declaration that boxing still belongs to real fighters, not algorithms. But if things go sideways, if Jake somehow survives, steals rounds, or even lands that one lucky shot, the internet will turn on Tank faster than a pay-per-view refund. That's the gamble of greatness. The higher you're thrown, the sharper the knives.
You got a guy like Gervonta, who I personally think has been checked out for way longer than this last fight. I think he was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here.
Tank's not just chasing a win, he's protecting an empire, a reputation built on fear, timing, and precision. Every jab, every feint, every smirk in that ring will speak louder than his words ever could. Drop your thoughts in the comments section, let's debate this one out. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.